It seems like Trump is getting a little tired of Trump is getting pretty tired of little Napoleon, I think. Um, I don't know if you can read this, Luke, but I thought maybe you tweeted it. Why don't you share what President Trump has just told little Napoleon Zelensky?
Yeah, no, this is important. This is Donald Trump's statement a couple moments ago, kind of pinpointing Zelensky as the main person hindering and stopping these peace talks from moving forward. And I just did a very comprehensive analysis of this, since Trump and a lot of the key members of his administration were always hinting that they were going to walk away from the negotiation table. And now it looks like they have officially walked away. Rubio and Waltz literally just ended negotiations and said, you know what, we're not doing this. And they walked away from it. And then this is in response to a lot of reports coming in of Volodymyr Zelensky going to the media and then telling them that Trump is trying to make Ukraine under Russian occupation and trying to make them recognize Crimea. And Zelensky said he will never do this.
Trump is probably doing that, by the way.
Yeah,
and I'd be willing to bet
that Trump is trying to give Ukraine to Russia, and Trump responded to this with this particular statement, kind of calling out Zelensky and saying, "Hey, why didn't you guys fight for Crimea when they took it? How many years ago? 11 years ago when they took it from you guys?
Right.
Why didn't you guys, try to stop them from doing this?" And then he talked about the Russian military bases there and how they took it without a shot being fired. And that's, of course, one of the key negotiations that's happening right now that the Ukrainians are refusing to budge on and the Europeans are refusing to budge on. And Zelensky sent this message to the media and made this a public outcry saying, no, this is not going to happen. Trump responded with his own public response here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you'd have to be pretty stupid to think that Ukraine wasn't going to cede some land in this ceasefire deal. Did anybody actually think that they were just going to go back to the way it was?
But they're refusing. They're saying, you're going to get out of Crimea, you're going to get out of the Donbass, and you're going to pay us restitution for fighting us. That's their negotiation ask. That's what they're demanding, and that's what they're standing firm on. And they're saying we're not going to meet anywhere in the middle. This is our ask, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you're not wrong. I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yep.
But America should immediately terminate all medical and humanitarian aid then. Let Europe pay for it.
And they're not. And Europe's not going to pay for it.
Right. And I mean, this war would have been over a year ago if we weren't fighting it as a proxy war.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know what the daily casualties are like nowadays.
It's about 2,500 people per week on each side, so about 5,000 a week, according to Donald Trump and his estimates and his analysis and his own personal comments. 5,000 young Slavic men a week.
Yeah, I mean, I think also, I feel like Zelensky, the fact that Zelensky is saying no to this, it's probably going to get him. It's going to get him in some hot water, and that's as far as I'll say on a YouTube clip. I don't think the Ukrainians want to keep fighting. I don't think the Russians want to keep fighting. But if maybe the ask from Russia is simply too much. What was leaked
in the middle.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying.
Want to meet in the middle. The Russians are even coming out saying, "We'll give you our rare earth minerals. Let's make a deal."
Right.
So I think, listen, the way that this unfolded was, first we had the ceasefire that the Ukrainians sabotaged by bombing Russian infrastructure.
Correct.
Then the Russians sabotaged the peace deals by saying, no, we're going to continue on this onslaught, and we're going to.
Well, they bombed a gas line or communications line, right? When that was a part of the ceasefire.
The Ukrainians hit multiple key pieces of energy infrastructure, which was supposed to be the first part of the deal that they were not supposed to bomb. As the Russians announced that their attacks on infrastructure stopped, the Ukrainians doubled down on theirs.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was the first sabotage attempt by the Ukrainians. Then I would argue the Russians sabotaged it after that. Now the Ukrainians are back to sabotaging it in their own kind of unique way as well.
Yeah, is it's very weird how like they've had this off ramp for several months now, and they just refuse to take it. I mean, again, I understand where Ukraine's coming from. If they feel like, somebody in chat says this is such a biased take, I think it's not biased. I think it's a realist take. I think Ukraine would have lost this war 6 months or a year ago if not for the American taxpayers. The American taxpayers do not want to pay for this war anymore. Half the country didn't want to pay for it back then. So the reality is Russia would have steamrolled. Russia would have steamrolled and took whatever they want. If you don't believe that, I cannot fix that. If you think that Europe was going to step up and stop it, my only question to you is why haven't they done so? Why haven't they done so yet? Europe was never going to get involved with this. They did the absolute bare minimum. This was a proxy war run by Joe Biden to, in his opinion, to probably try and weaken Russia. And they had no chance of winning this. None. And so I just don't know how people, I don't know, something weird's going on with my monitors here. I don't know how people can see it any other way. Like, am I being totally crazy? Like, who gave Ukraine the fighter jets? Who gave Ukraine the drones? Who gave Ukraine the missiles? Who gave Ukraine the ammunition? Who gave Ukraine, practically everything they have to fight this war? Many of the people in this area that Russia wants speak Russian. They want to be a part of Russia. I'm sick of hearing that Ukraine would have won this war. Ukraine, if not for the billions of dollars in the United States taxpayer stolen money, had zero chance of stopping Russia. And everybody in Europe knows I'm right when I tell you that Europe wasn't going to do diddly squat about it. So in what world are we talking? If you want to say this is one-sided, or if you want to say, they have a right to defend themselves, sure they do. And they would have lost that war handily. So I don't know. I'm just sick of talking about Ukraine after 3 years. I'm sick of paying for it. I'm sick of paying for Israeli bombs and then Palestinian aid. I'm sick of paying for both sides of that war. It's crazy to me that anyone thinks this would have been even a mild conflict if Russia really had rolled in like they wanted to.
Yeah,
without U.S. help.
Zelensky leaking the negotiations here really is acting in bad faith, in my opinion.
Of course it is, yes.
He's doing a very big gamble here that, in my opinion, is not fair to the Ukrainian people. And it's an absolute travesty to see so many young men snatched off of the streets, put on the front lines, and so many Slavic young men are losing their lives in record numbers. It is crazy to see this happen. Donald Trump, before the United States today backed out of the peace deal, because today is when they walked away from it. Before that, he released a statement. I sent you the statement in the private chat. I think it's worth noting because he called the people who are hindering the peace deal fools and absolutely very bad people. Who was he referring to? It's pretty clear who he was referring to right now.
Yeah.
But this is Trump's comments on it that I think are important to watch here in hindsight of this latest fallout that's happening here right now for everyone to see, which will bring us to new layers of conflict inside of Ukraine that's going to be that much more devastating.
Being killed in battle. It's a vicious battle with the best equipment, the best everything, and it is brutal. 2,500 young people a week. Some of them not so young, actually. They're getting older. They're getting older by the month. But 2,500 a week, and we're going to get it stopped ideally. Now, if for some reason one of the two parties makes it very difficult, we're just going to say you're foolish, you're fools, you're horrible people, and we're going to just take a pass. But hopefully we won't have to do that. Now,
he's talking about Volodymyr Zelensky. Very obviously, right?
Pretty clear now with everything that has fallen out, everything that has kind of happened here, the way it kind of transpired here. It's pretty clear who he's talking about.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not saying, one of the things that often gets muddied in my opinions about the Ukraine war is this straw man that I support Russia invading. I don't support Russia invading. But I am being pragmatic that Ukraine would never have won this war if not for Joe Biden using Zelensky as his little puppet. Never would have lasted. And so what do you want me to say? I mean, I don't want to pay for it. I didn't want to pay for it when Joe Biden was president, and I don't want to pay for it now. And, this was my number one reason for voting for Donald Trump, is to end these stupid wars. So I just don't care. I don't care.
I do, because it's a whole bunch of young Slavic men.
Yeah. Well,
that are
sure.
just being,
That's
right. Obliterated. And
I guess, I don't care about having an unpopular take is maybe what I'm saying there. Yeah.
No, I think what Trump is doing is very difficult and not easy. And we told everyone, hey, this is not going to be a thing that's going to be done overnight. Our analysis on this and the way that it's been kind of building up and unfolding here, our analysis all the way back to...
We were right a year, 6 months ago.
Not even that. 2014, when I was reporting on this, saying this is going to lead to a war. This is going to be really bad. We need to do everything in our power to try to reverse this course, or else we are on a pathway that there's no going back from. And unraveling what has been brewing even before 2014 is something extremely difficult. So if you look at my videos all the way back in 2014, I was warning and signaling the alarms here. And that's when the first bullets and bombs started flying with this kind of proxy conflict that's extremely reckless, extremely stupid, and leading to the destruction of young Slavic men that sadly is going to only be exacerbated and grow.
Yeah.